Hello, it's Kadisha. I'm back with another video. Do we treat people the way we want to be treated? And I think we've all heard the saying, your parents said it or somebody said it, treat people the way you want to be treated. And oftentimes we think that we are treating these people this way until we actually get a different perspective. And when I say a different perspective, not necessarily you seeing yourself, but seeing someone else treat someone rudely. And when I say rudely, I mean impatient, just really focused on the task at hand and not really thinking about what the other person may be feeling or going through. And I got this clear perspective when I was actually working at this independent living. And I am the type that is focused. I want to get my job done. That's just how I am. And the person, I was giving them medication, and they were telling me that they had lost something. But this was a norm. Like, they always telling me that they lost something. And they had dementia to an extent, but they could, they would forget some things. And so I don't know what exactly that's called. But they were able to live on their own, but they just needed a little extra service. So they were telling me they lost something, and I'm just like, okay, we'll find it later. We'll find it later. I have to admit, I was in my 20s. I was in my early 20s. Look at me trying to make an excuse. So, that, when you get a little bit older, you get a little bit more patience. And then when you get older, you lose those patience again. So it's just like the sweet spot. Yeah, so this person, they were like, you're so focused. Basically, I can't remember what they said because it was a while back, but they were just basically telling me that I'm so focused on giving them medication that I'm not listening to what they're saying. And that made me feel so bad. I said, what? I could not believe this person said that. And I guess it was more so because the person had dementia, so you would think like, oh, they can't really remember you doing this. But one thing about people that has dementia, they do remember how people treat them, and that's whether good or bad. So just one insight: if you're working with someone who has dementia, like, they remember. They may not remember what exactly you said 5 minutes ago, but they can remember how they feel after you said it. So yeah, that really opened my eyes, and it just made me like realize, like, okay, yeah, you need to get your work done. I'm not saying that, but you need to make sure that you're caring about the person that you're caring for. And it sounds cliche, or no, not cliche. um and I don't want to say oxymoron, because oxymoron is like the opposite. But it just seems like, oh yeah, duh, I'm caring for the person that I care for, that I'm caring for. And it's just like, no, you're trying to get a task done. Doesn't necessarily mean that you're actually caring for the person. And I was able to witness this here recently, and the Lord just like brought that back to my attention when I'm doing this video. But it sparked up, like, it sparked up the conversation. Do we treat people the way we want to be treated? And not necessarily someone who's dealing with something like a diagnosis like dementia. It could be anything, just a day-to-day conversation. Do you talk to people the way you want to be talked to? And this is not saying that we don't hold people accountable. This is not saying that we walk on eggshells around people. No, that's not what I'm saying. But it's just like the same tone and the same actions that you're using with someone else. Would you be okay with them using that with you? I had a video that I talked about earlier, probably a couple videos back, that I was saying, like, the Lord is trying to teach me how to be talking to people, because I said something to someone a couple weeks ago that after I was just like, man, Lord, that was not okay. Well, I ain't gonna say, Lord, that was okay, because Lord didn't say it. The Lord brought it to my attention, like, that was not okay what you said. And I was just like, okay, because how would you feel if that person said it to you? And of course, we would think, in the sense, when we say like, oh, I would be fine, but you don't know, because you don't know exactly what you may be going through that day when someone says it. Because if you're happy and someone says it, that may be a whole different thing when you're mad and someone says it, or when you're sad and someone says it. So we just have to take those things into account when we're dealing with people. Make sure that you're treating them the way that you would want to be treated. And that may be with kid gloves sometimes, and it may be with boxing gloves other times. I don't know. But yeah, just some food for thought for today. Thank you so much for watching, and like I always say, sa cambio que quieres ver en otros. Until next time, bye.